Happy New Year and welcome back to It's Wednesday, That's Why. This is our first episode of the year 2023 and I'm super excited about it. Today is a very weird day because it's misty and raining in January in Toronto when it should be snowing. Today we have with us Dr. Effy Germanis, who's a naturopathic doctor and acupuncturist with over 10 years of clinical experience. She is here to help people reclaim their energy and vitality by addressing the foundations of the health, the gut. What an interesting concept, Dr. Effy. I'm totally mesmerized by this. And welcome today to It's Wednesday. That's why I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you, Abhinav. I'm happy to be part of this, and Happy New Year to your viewers as well. It's a nice way to start off the new year. But yeah, no, I'm excited to be here. So let's chat. What do you want to know? What can I tell you about what I do?
Well, yes, as much as we would love to know about what you do, why don't we begin there? But really, we want to know why you do what you do.
That's always the great question, right? Why do we do what we do? And it's funny because a lot of questions I ask my patients in clinical care is, do you like what you do? Why do you do what you do? Right. And so when it's asked to me, you're like, oh, um,
Or
for
maybe
me,
some of them can be at the podcast.
for me, you know what? I've always been intrigued by health. Growing up, we grew up more in a natural setting. I took supplements as a kid. I remember iron powders, but tasting horrible, but just feeling great. And I didn't really run into, thankfully, many health issues growing up. But I always found it so fascinating because we always said, oh, you're sick, you go to the doctor. And then over time, I started to realize, well, no, if I'm sick, that means I'm not doing something right. And so that kind of ignited the fire alongside me wanting to learn about health and wellness and the body and how to be your best. And that kind of amalgamated together. And that's where I got into naturopathic medicine specifically, because we can treat the whole body and really give that power back to the patient. So they're the one taking care of themselves and we're holding them accountable.
That is so interesting. I'm very intrigued by, and I'm a huge believer because I'm like, there's medicines, but I'm like, there's got to be something more about it, about our health. And I think there's a natural way to cure what is going around with our body. Most of the things we believe are diseases are just some side effects or, consequences of something we ate or something or the other. And it's like, okay, I don't need to pop a pill for every small or big thing that is going in my body. Um, and that's good. Can you tell more about, what does naturopathy mean to you?
Similar to what kind of you just said was, we shouldn't have to pop a pill. We shouldn't have to feel the way we do. And I think a part of our healthcare becoming more sick, our society becoming more sick, is because our environment is more sick. So with naturopathic medicine, the idea here is very much similar to medicine. This is what medicine was, whether it was in India, whether it was in Greece, whether it was in other places around the world. We all practiced medicine and used tools that were grown or available to us, right? And then sure, things changed. We became more cosmopolitan. We became more into the wars. There was more need for something more extreme or more, not invasive, but more acute use. But naturopathic medicine, and I think alternative medicine, or just the word medicine, is treating the whole body by bringing it back into balance. And I think one part that we've missed in this type of society now is because we're so go, 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 is the body's quite intricate and it's really intelligent, right? We form from two parts of the human chromosomes meeting together and forming a cell, and then it just replicates, so and divides and so on. So I feel like we need to step back and just say, what does my body need? And that's where naturopathic medicine plays a really big role, because as you said, oh, there's disease and stuff. A lot of this is just symptoms. It's the way the body communicates to you. We can't see inside, we can feel, and we can see on the surface, but we can't do anything else, right? Unless we cut open the body, which is not ideal. Yes. So symptoms is what we experience, and we have created diseases for symptoms. And so a lot of times it's just being really aware of what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, Because most of us know, oh, I didn't eat. Oh, I didn't drink water. Oh, I didn't move my body today. That's why my back hurts. That's why my stomach is growling. That's why I'm dizzy and lightheaded. Those are symptoms because of something we didn't do for the body. So the body, I just love that part of that intelligence and really giving it that power to do what it needs to do. We don't need to overpower it. We just need to nudge it.
That is so beautiful. Like I love that. And I always say that there's symptoms and diseases, and I also use this analogy for marketing. And hearing that from a doctor, I'm just like, wow, I say the right things.
Yeah, like systems and processes and marketing and all of that. Same concept is you can only set those things up, and if they're working properly, right, if you're giving it what it needs daily, if you're inputting the information it needs, aka giving it food or giving it the time to recharge like sleep, then those systems work much better.
Yes.
So we just need to come, sometimes we just, that's why I really address health from the foundational side, is look at those main 5 pillars, which includes the gut as its main foundational
Mhm.
kind of base to address health. Because a lot of times what we're trying to do in naturopathic medicine and alternative medicine, whatever way you practice, is look at the base and look at the foundations, find the true cause, because everything else will fall into place if we fix that problem at the beginning.
100%. I so resonate with this ideology, and I'm so amazed because like sometimes we're like, okay, I got sick. Let's say I got cough, and then all I'm trying to do is curing the cough. And the cough merely is a symptom. Well, it's not the cause, it's not the root problem. And I love naturopathic medicine and alternative wellness so much because we're not dealing with the symptoms, we are dealing with the root, and we are like curing the problem from the core, which actually results in, betterment of the symptom and more energy and vitality and all sorts of things that create a ripple effect just because we are clean in the core and have solved the root problems. That's amazing. Hey, out of curiosity, and I don't want you to be sharing any, confidential information, which I also know you won't. But you said a lot of times you're asking your customers, your patients, what and why they come. So I'm curious to know, why do people generally come to you for naturopathy versus going to a doctor?
A lot of times, patients, I love when patients mix the two, because we do need full care, right? And I find that, I hope our system, our health system goes into this network care where we're being taken care of, the naturopathic, the Chinese medicine approach, or alternative wellness approach. If needed, if we need more invasive, depending on the scenario, we can go to our medical doctors, we can go to specialists. What I find most patients come in with is, or new clients are coming in complaining about symptoms of, fatigue and exhaustion, stress, digestive issues, just not feeling their best and tired of not getting some sort of solution or support.
Mhm.
And the problem there is, it's not that there's any failure on any side. I think what we need to re-educate is, you're in control of your health. And so when people come in to see me, I approach the health aspect from the physical complaints that they may experience. I divulge into their lifestyle, which includes in their diet, their movement, their sleep patterns. I get into the mental emotional side, what's your stress picture? What goes on with your stress? Do you get angry? The emotions. What do you feel a lot of times? Do you feel happy? Where are you unhappy? Where do you feel you don't have that network or that communication? And so this approach allows people to really divulge and understand their own health. I'm learning about them, but I'm also kind of serving on a platter their picture, and they see it from my view. And so they have a better understanding of how to approach their care. So a lot of times it's a mixed picture, but I would say on the average, on the more often side, is just people who can't seem to find the cause of their problems. They get some relief, they get some feeling of being better, but it doesn't last, or they just need that extra support where it's the foundation side that's not being approached from another perspective.
And how strong do you think is the correlation between the mental and the physical health?
Oh, 100% correlation. We even talk about now, especially in my area of focus with digestive health, is the gut brain connection, right? The gut or the digestive tract is seen as the second brain. And now we're not saying that emotions are in the brain, because we can say emotions if we go philosophical, is at the heart level, is at the brain level, whatever it is. It doesn't matter which approach you look at it. Um, our thoughts, our way of movement, our how we feed our body, treat our body, all of that plays a big role on the physical and mental, emotional. They're all connected. You cannot separate that in the human body. You could separate it in a car. Sure, you can take out its tires and put on new tires, and it should be good to go. It'll balance out. But with the body, you can't do that. You really need to address all levels, right?
Yeah.
For full care. And it's something that's not like, oh, you fix it once and you're done. This is something where we educate, you educate patients, you educate yourself on that daily mantra, that visualization, that daily care, that lifestyle. There's no one stop, one pill, one action that's going to change it for long term.
Yeah. That's good. And I know you said about finding a better way was your drive, was your why. But what excites you most about naturopathic medicine?
I think a part of it, even just message, just connecting with people. I love hearing about, their health story and understanding their health issues, getting an understanding of their family health. So looking at the hereditary aspect, but also just looking at people's goals and aspirations. I love learning from different, people coming in from all different disciplines and just learning what they do. And then when I see that they're feeling better or getting better or feel more in control, it just makes me really happy. So it's like I'm empowering, I'm impacting them to really take control of their health, because all of us can be healthy. We just need those resources and information, and that accountability, I think, is the big piece.
That's amazing. Um, as business owners and entrepreneurs and founders who are, who consist of majority of our audience, we're always stressing out ourselves and are overwhelmed with work. So it becomes really a challenge to, balance the work with the health part of things. What's one tip you can give to the audience here today that can be easier for them to implement in the daily life, but also help them have a better health overall?
From a health perspective, I think, set yourself up for success, right? As a business owner myself, yes. There's days where I'm like, oh, this is great. And there's days where it's like, why am I doing this? Sometimes you're like, can I do this? Right? You're questioning. But I feel in, being a new year, I'm not really one on resolutions. I think resolutions are this um big approach to doing 1,000 things at once, which is not ideal. But I feel like setting yourself up for success means planning, having some sort of rhythm, having some sort of habits. I read the book Atomic Habits and I loved it, because it really just, how do you set yourself up for success? It's not the big steps that you take, it's all the little things. So putting your gym clothes out in the morning so you can go work out, setting yourself up with your items so you're not rushing in the morning, maybe meal prepping so you have food, because meal and nutrition is really important. Skipping meals is not ideal, and overeating is not ideal, and eating out can break the bank and you're not in control of what you're eating. Now there's times you go eat out, but I'm just, setting yourself up for success, planning your week, planning your month, planning your quarter, planning your year, but also prioritizing you. So really saying, okay, this year, for example, 2023, I want to go, for example, say on 3 vacations.
Yeah.
So I'm going to set myself and say, okay, this is my vacation time, block it off. Then arrange your schedule so you know what days you're doing what. And then, this is an area I'm still working in, being a new business owner, is delegating. I used to hear it so much from different business courses that I'd taken and listened into. Delegating. What can you give to someone to do it for you? Right? Because time is money. Money is time as well, but time is money. So if I can't do it, or I could do it in an hour, what's that cost on my end? What's my hourly rate, for example? When can I hire someone to take it over? Maybe I like it, maybe I don't like doing it. I like learning everything and doing it myself initially, and then being able to delegate because I can understand how much time they'll need, what resources they'll need. For example, I did my own website, I worked on my own website, I've now delegated that because I just don't have the time or energy to deal with that aspect. But I
Yeah.
know how it works, I know the time involved, and I know what the cost should be. And then I make sure I just find someone and that's good for my team. But I think it's just setting yourself up for success by planning and being consistent.
Okay. It's so like true, and I know that because I follow that. I like to prioritize. I've got my entire like morning routine where I'm like, okay, I gotta include meditation, workout, and like all sorts of things in my morning routine. But for a lot of entrepreneurs, like, okay, I want to prioritize myself, but there's so much work to be done that how do I, leave that work and prioritize myself? Would you have anything to say to those people who can maybe make it easier, or are there some sort of health habits, or some things they can put in their routine while they're overwhelmed with work and are constantly in that mode of just working 24/7?
Yeah, I think the routines is like, as you said, Abhinav, is really important, right? I have my morning routine, right? You wake up, you do your stuff. I do my morning light now that it's cloudy, right? I have my SAD light just to get that morning light to set up myself for my sleep wake cycle. I do my morning stretches, I do my morning breath, whatever visualization, things that you like to do. But I feel that a lot of us think, oh, if I do those items, if I do that morning routine, I'm losing time on work. We're talking about 1, 2, 10 minutes, right? Um, so sometimes when people are overworked, just seeing what they do in a day, keep track of how much time you're spending and seeing where you're losing time, right? A lot of us lose time on little things like scrolling through Instagram or scrolling through other things or doing emails anytime or doing certain things. So from a health perspective, prioritize your health first, because if you're burnt out, no work is going to get done anyways. And then prioritize the work. See what's the most important, what are your deadlines, and when you schedule and you plan from a health perspective, even when you're eating lunch, when you're spending time with your loved ones, when you're doing your own solo things,
Yeah.
you still can make, you just need to plan it out. And it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't be super structured, but I find that when we don't prioritize health and ourselves first, everything will deteriorate over time. You might last a small amount of time or a good amount of time, but then you'll burn out and you won't be able to do what you're doing anymore.
That is so true. I think a question I would like to leave with the audience to think for themselves is your work really more important than your health? Or will getting you more successful really fulfill you in life, or will health do that? So I think it's a very good question that I want the audience to think today. Please make sure you're giving some time to your health because it's absolutely important. I know taking out 20, 30 minutes or even an hour sometimes takes looks like it's a lot of time, but if you see the results of that, or not even the results, just the satisfaction or of you being comfortable in your own skin, I think that that pays off for the time you will spend on developing your health. Well, thank you so much, Effie, for sharing all these wonderful tips with us. It was absolutely uh, wonderful learning what you do and more why you do. I think naturopathic medicine or naturopathy is something everyone should look forward to personally. I think if we have a healthy body, we don't need to go and get our body cut and get surgeries done or just pop unnecessary pills. I think our body is equipped enough and is smart enough to cure itself from diseases. So thank you so much for being here and be limitless today.
Thank you, Abhinav. Have a limitless day as well.
Thank you. Well, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you like it. I hope you got some inspiration, some tips for being more healthy. Naturopathy is really the way to go if you want to live a life with super healthiness. I'll see you next Wednesday. Until then, have a limitless week.